questions to ask throughout a campaign with the confidence rising. I told WDF don't switch, good times are coming on even deep diving. Fan cams, reactions, watch along, still the pride of London thriving. The Eagles of South, they flying. Keep your eyes on us, we ain't hiding.
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Eagle Eye Football. We've seen a lot of other people doing this kind of show, so we thought we'd do the same thing, follow the trends, innit? We're going to be doing a Premier League table prediction. It's a little bit further on the transfer window, so we can actually start making some pretty decent suggestions. This stream idea was made by Rich, however, he's not here, which is quite funny in the first place. But me and Nicky are still here. So, Nicky, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, mate. Doing great. Looking forward to the opening weekend. We got Man City Burnley kicking off in around about 40 minutes. So Premier League is back. It's time for 10 months of my mood getting decided by 11 men playing in shorts. Great.
Which means we can't really go over too much because I think we're all planning on watching it. Before we start, Thunder saying, did I get the cartoon graphic right, going from left to right? And he got it right.
Spot on.
Don't go over time. City game kicks off in 45. Nicky looks like a Dragon Ball Z character in that graphic.
Take that as a compliment. Thank you.
If you can check, I don't remember any Dragon Ball characters that have that haircut.
Yeah, same here.
Do you? Nah.
There's not many. I mean, crazy hair is kind of my thing, but that's nah.
Definitely not. I don't think that there's any.
The hairline
probably with his little headband thing. It's probably Trunks is probably the thing he mostly resembles, or Kid Gohan, when he had his sort of bowl cut.
Yeah.
Ronnie on the road says hello, guys. Big up T said big up my brothers, and Thunder Road saying Chatterjee versus Warnock.
Wrong surname, but okay. I'm not Nathan.
Well, I can't tell if that's racism or just whatever. But however, here we go. Here is the tier list. Clearly, we've got Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, 8 to 10. 11 to 13, 14 to 16, who barely survives, and then relegation. Nicky, would you rather go from top to bottom or from bottom to top?
Bottom to top, please.
All right. So, in this discussion, let's say, who are the main ones? So if we just pull out names, like who do we think off the bat are going to struggle this season?
Wolves, Luton, and I'm going to say Sheffield.
Wolves, Sheffield, Luton. Are we saying potentially like Forest could struggle, and Everton maybe as well?
I think they could struggle.
Even West Ham to an extent, because they still, even though they got Alvarez, like, he's not a right replacement, is he?
No, he's not. He's not. But the money that they spent on him, he would certainly be certainly looking to put him in for that role. But no, I think those 6 there would be in and around the relegation team. I'm even going to put Palace in there as well, mate. Put Palace in there as well, because it's not looking. It's not great right now.
Yeah, I think we'll touch on all of these one by one. I think Wolves is definitely here purely because they've just sacked their manager.
Yeah.
They've gotten rid of both of their starting centre-backs. They've lost Ruben Neves. They've lost Jimenez.
Yep.
Bear in mind, Jimenez wasn't doing very much, full stop. No. But still, losing someone that's had that amount of time at the club and just gone. I'm sure João Moutinho's retired as well, or not playing anymore.
And they've lost quite a number of players as well. As you said, yeah. So the likes of Cody and Collins, Jimenez, Neves, and a lot of players released due to just them not playing, or because of this FFP problem that Wolves are dealing with, which is ongoing. And they've said, well, a lot of journalists have said about Wolves that they can expect to not bring in any more players.
They've
only
signed
brought in,
Doherty again, but that's the only one I can really think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, they brought in Tom King from Northampton on a free, Matt Doherty, as you already said, and Boubacar Traore from FC Metz. That's it.
Mm-hmm. So for them, it's not looking good. And also with the manager that they've only just sacked now, when they probably should have done that at the start of the window, or even at the end of last season.
I think so. I think
so. They've been doing pre-season with that rubbish style of football, haven't they?
Yeah, and now Gary O'Neill's been brought in. Wolves leadership hoping that he can do a repeat of what he did at Bournemouth in that would being keeping that team up under little to no budget whatsoever. But I don't think lightning will strike twice for them. I think this is it for them.
Are we saying that Wolves is 100% in this bottom three?
100%. Yeah, I don't think they're bottom. I would say that they're the 18th.
Okay. Next up is Sheffield United. We are playing them tomorrow, so we cannot be too harsh because we're going to eat our words.
Oh yeah, of course.
However, obviously we've given them the due diligence, saying playing them tomorrow. We don't want to jinx ourselves. However, they're in a sort of similar situation to Wolves, aren't they? They've lost a lot of their players, a lot of their main players.
Yeah, Sanderberg especially.
Sanderberg and Dye are two of the main ones. I think, and then also McCarthy, I think, that they had on loan from Man City, and all the other loanees they've not signed up, and they haven't come back on loan again. And I'm sure that out of all of the players that have left Sheffield United from the end of last season coming into this season, they scored 74 goals last season in total. Those players that aren't there anymore scored over a third of all their goals throughout the whole championship season. So they are going to be really struggling to move forwards and defend because they've lost defenders and they've lost forwards. They have brought in players, but the maximum they spent is £5 million.
Yeah.
And not like obviously money is like a very relative thing these days because they're talking Caicedo 100 million, Paqueta 100 million. If that's the case, Eze is worth 150. But but it's still a thing of, and then we got Elise for 8, and then you're looking at it like that and thinking like that's a good deal, but people have heard of Elise. People knew kind of what he was about. These guys, I've got no idea. And that's no disrespect to them. They could come in and do exactly what Elise has done and shock the world. But in the Premier League these days, you kind of have to pay a bit of money to get a bit of quality. And it's very rare to get really good quality for a little bit of money. And I think they'll struggle this season.
I think so as well. I think obviously their first season, when they came up a couple of years back, obviously they had that huge boost that many promoted teams have actually had. Case in point, Nottingham Forest staying up last season, where they hang around the mid-table, just that higher part of the mid-table section that they hang around in, and then obviously in season 2, second season syndrome hits. I don't think that's the case this season. I think, as you said, Sheffield haven't brought in many players. They have just let go of Sanderberg, who's starting for Burnley as it happens today. Yeah, I think Sheffield are 19th for me. Hopefully I don't eat my words there and they get 3 points to start their season tomorrow.
You never know. Next one is Luton Town. And I'll tell you what, they've done some decent business. They've got Ross Barkley in now.
Yeah.
They've come in, even though they ain't got much money, they've strengthened. And I've got a feeling that at home they're going to be really hard to beat. I feel like they've got 1 or 2 big 6 kills to their name this season at their ground, because I think that it's just going to be so different to what we've played in the last ever since Stoke went down a few years ago. We haven't really played. There hasn't really been a out and out long ball team in the Premier League since they went down.
Yeah,
And I
no, I
think
completely
it's
agree.
going to be a huge shock to the Premier League teams for that kind of football coming back into the league. And especially only for one team in the whole league as well to do it, it's going to be an enigma. And I feel like it's going to catch a few teams out if they're not careful.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Luton Town, you can certainly say, are they're the oddball in terms of this one. They are that little mix of what will happen, we don't know, with Luton Town. I did have them on my personal list as 20th. Then again, this was made like 3 weeks ago. The business that they've done over the window, as you said, Ross Barkley, they brought in
They
some
can put
well-known
permanent,
names.
right?
Yes, yeah. So I think that they might not go down because I think, that, as you said, their home atmosphere is going to be incredible, and I don't want them to go down personally. Um, but I think they will be in and around this section here. So for the moment, I'm happy to put them like maybe 17. Whether that will change, we don't know.
In my list, my personal list, I had them at 17th because
Fair enough.
I think that there are other teams that are candidates to go down as well in here. Forest, they're another one that's a bit strange. I think they have got the quality in the players and the manager to get through it, but when they should have been home and dry last season, they really made hard work of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty the only reason why I'm potentially having them as far down as they are.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've got the players. Iwoni's good player. Gibbs White's a good player, and potentially they could be losing Brennan Johnson to Spurs. Obviously, he's still a Forest player at the moment, but if that deal does happen, and bear in mind they've got the Harry Kane money now, there's no reason why it wouldn't anymore. And I think if they lose him, there's going to be a big shock for Forest.
Mm-hmm.
Because the talk is that maybe Spence will go the other way, but I still think that replacing a forward for a right back is, in any circumstance, it's not going to fill the hole, is it?
That's true. They've had 4 deals that 4 players come in that I would certainly look at, which is Anthony Elanga from Manchester United, Chris Wood joining from Newcastle. Matt Turner obviously was their latest signing for £10 million from Arsenal, and Ola Aina from Torino on a free. With also the news that Dean Henderson is expected to go back to Nottingham Forest on a permanent basis. That's looking more likely. Forest, I had them finishing pretty mid-table. I have them 14th personally. Just because I think that they are going to be very, very stable. I'm not expecting much out of them this season. Obviously, they had a fair few games where they did go undefeated at home for a very, very long time. They had that result against Arsenal, which handed the title to Man City. So I think they won't be doing as much this season, but I have them to stay up.
Okay. Well, yeah, as I said to you before we went live, I don't know any of them. I know who's winning it, and that's it. So
yeah,
it's either you convince me or not, and then that's how we are taking this. However, out of these next 3, I think Everton is probably the weakest candidate.
Yes. Yeah, I completely agree with you on this one. Everton, well, they very, very narrowly escaped last season, as we all know. Only bringing in Danjuma from Villarreal on loan and Ashley Young on a free. The list of players that have left the club: Tom Davies, Asmir Begovic, Andros Townsend, Yerry Mina. Some of these players who should be getting looks in, but unfortunately aren't. I don't think this is going to sustain.
Is Onana still potentially leaving as well?
Oh yes, of course, yeah.
Or is that all gone quiet now?
So yeah, not Andre Onana. He signed for Man United. The other Onana. So yeah, he wants to leave as well. Yeah, I think Everton. It's whether they finish 20th. I'm not sure if they finish rock bottom. I think that's doing them a little dirty.
Dan, how's it going? I've just seen you jump in.
Yeah, I'm good. How are you guys? I'll be on here for a minute. I've got to go work in like 10 minutes, but I thought I'd give my input whilst I'm here.
All right. Well, if you're only here for 10 minutes, who's your relegation, mate?
I think relegated teams will be, as of right now, Sheffield United.
Yeah.
Everton.
Yeah.
Although they do seem to be maybe picking up a little bit. And I'm going to go for a rogue shout and say Wolves.
The man agrees with me.
It's funny because the three that we've got there, Sheffield, Wolves, and Everton, are the ones that we're putting in the down. So
there we go. Then.
we're only discussing Palace and West Ham after this.
There we go.
Yeah, I agree with Luton. I've got a sneaky feeling that Luton will stay up this season. I've got a feeling.
Because I think there are worse teams, like surprisingly.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, like we said on the tactical stream the other day, like Sheffield United have gotten rid of a lot of their players. / a lot of players they do have were relegated with them when they got like 20 points, whatever it was. Wolves are just in disarray. The only thing about Wolves, I think that they might be okay, is I do think Gary O'Neill is, in terms of attack, maybe not the best, but defensively, I think he does organise the teams. I think that's probably the only thing they've got going for them at the moment.
Well, if we go with our list so far, we've got Sheffield United with finishing rock bottom, with Wolves and Everton also getting relegated. Luton Town at 17th, and then we've got Nottingham Forest at 14th. Where are we putting West Ham here? Are we moving up a little bit, or are we staying around here?
I think that's about right. I don't think they're going to finish higher than us.
Because they have got Europa League football as well, don't they?
Well, that's it. They've got that. Plus, they haven't actually reinvested their money yet. Plus, I think Paqueta is going to be going soon as well.
But then that's more money that they can invest again.
True, but they'll need to do that very soon. And I think a lot of teams will know that they've got all this money. So they're like, wait a minute, you're the West Ham with £200 million now, so you can pay an extra 10, can't you?
Yeah, that's true. In this sort of area, are we happily putting West Ham and Palace here? So Forest finishing above Palace and West Ham?
That's what I've got myself personally. I did have West Ham personally finishing a little higher, maybe in like 13th, just because I'm expecting them to reinvest their money. So I'm just looking just a little bit ahead. With obviously we've still got the rest of the month for the window. I had Burnley finishing above us because I think Vincent Kompany has certainly turned Burnley around. I think the reinvestment needs to come sooner rather than later for West Ham. Obviously, they've got players that are looking to leave. But I only just clocked. I remembered now. Lanzini's gone, and now Scamacca's gone. So I reckon I'm going to actually turn around myself and change it. I reckon West Ham finish 16th.
Yeah, I've not got no issue with West Ham finishing 16th, but even though there is definitely Palace bias here, I'm still putting us 12th because we belong there.
Yeah,
it's our natural position.
I agree with JC. I think we'll finish above Forest, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like the team that will split Forest and West Ham will be Burnley, because I think that they're going to be good, but I don't think they're going to be that good. I feel like they're going to impress people, but I feel like it's going to be a bit similar to how we was under Vieira in the first season, where we would be really impressive, but we just didn't have the quality to kill off games. And I feel like that'll be the same thing for them, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the whole company effect as well. I think people know that they're going to play well, but trying to translate that from the Championship into the Premier League, I know they've done a lot of business, but to actually turn that into results is a lot harder than I think
Yeah.
people give credit for.
Moving on, we have to fill out the 11th to 13th. Who are we looking at for down here? Because I'm the only two that I can see that sort of match that bracket with us is probably Brentford and Bournemouth. I think everyone else is sort of clear of us from here on
exactly
out,
what I was
isn't it?
thinking.
And
Yeah.
looking at this now, I'd probably put Bournemouth ahead of us, and Brentford's a tough one because they don't have Tony, but we all know that Wissa's probably just as good on his day.
I would actually swap them. I would have Brentford above us and Bournemouth below.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I would put Bournemouth above us, definitely, because I think that what they're building there is looking really exciting. The manager that they've got is a bit of a coup, to be fair, for what he's done at previous jobs. And it's just now, obviously, you're thinking about signings and what they've done, but like Alex Scott is like they've confirmed today, big intent signing. Stealing Max Aaron's big intent signing, and they've done it pretty well.
Yeah.
And even in January last season, they bought really well with like Otara and Traore and people like that. So they're definitely trying to build stuff. But I don't see us being above them, unfortunately, this season. Dan, what do you think about Brentford and Bournemouth?
I actually think they'll both finish above us. I think he'll be Brentford and then Bournemouth. I know that Brentford will massively miss Ivan Toney, but I've got a sneaky feeling that they were kind of anticipating Toney going in some capacity. Maybe not for betting scandal, but maybe leaving on a transfer fee. So, and also I think they're a very smart club as well. I put them in the same category as like a Brighton or someone like that, where I think that they would have a backup. I feel like they're not going to go into it without some sort of plan behind it. I think Bournemouth finishing above us is pretty touch and go because again they've signed a lot of good players, but to try and do that quickly and get results quickly is obviously another thing.
100%. Looks like Tristan's not a fan of Bournemouth being ahead of us. Yeah, Rich saying the same thing that we're saying. Well, with the thing of having multiple signings, it's going to be tough at the start, but then if you can get them all to work and click, like Vieira got us cooking after about the first 2 or 3 months, and then we really started to kick on when everyone was all comfortable with each other because we made that signing so late that all the signings happened straight away, bang, 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 and it had a really short time to get them all bedded in. But after enough games and they were bedded in, we looked like a really solid team. So I thought that's really what will happen with Bournemouth. They'll have a pretty rocky start, but they'll have a very good end to the season.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Are we happy with this bottom 10?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
In this order as well?
Yeah, I'd say about right. It's within like 1 or 2 places for me, but yeah.
Same here.
Okay. Top 10 now.
Sorry to butt in. Just a caveat, because I know I could see people saying it in the comments. These predictions for me are based purely on if the team stayed exactly the same as they are right now. Just to clarify. Obviously, if West Ham manage to spend their money well, then that might change. If we buy players again, that might change.
Definitely. Obviously, the transfer window is a big decider in this, and also the end of last season and potentially some preseason as well. So we're going off a lot right now, but obviously no one's ever going to predict it bang on, but it's just a bit of fun anyway. Top 10, 8 to 10th. This gets tough now.
Brighton 10th.
See, this is the thing. I genuinely think this top 10 is probably the most competitive top 10 I've seen for a very, very long time. Because
100%.
I think you could make a case for any one of these teams being in any of those. Well, not, I mean, obviously within reason, but I think 8th to 10th for me would probably be between Brighton, who I think will finish 8th personally. I think Spurs will be in there, and I think Chelsea will be in there. Then I could make an argument for Newcastle being in there as well, because I think for teams like Brighton and Newcastle, I think people really underestimate how much of an impact European football has on teams.
Yeah.
Because even like the seasoned teams who are in it year after year sometimes struggle with European football.
And to be fair, Brighton, they have brought in a few players, but they haven't really invested their money that they've been gathering in the last few years of selling players. So they have bought that João Pedro, which is a good signing for them.
Yeah, they brought in
the Dortmund midfielder, who can't his name now.
Mahmoud Dahoud. They brought in
The Dortmund guy they brought in as well. He looks like a good player.
Yeah, Dahoud is it's interesting because he didn't really play a lot last season for Dortmund. He was more playing in like the domestic and in the Champions League, and he was excellent when paired up with Bellingham or Royce, but only those two. In other games, he would go missing a lot. I think that's just down to lack of physicality.
However, I have to say, if they do pull off Kudus, possibly I'd move them out of that 8 to 10.
I just think for me the European football thing is going to be a big factor. I think, yeah, and also the thing again, I think that top 10 is so hard to predict because, I mean, okay, I'm just going to say it just because I'm going to go in and say it, but for me, City would be champions. I think Liverpool and Arsenal are probably going to make up the other two places. I think all the other places apart from those three, after those, I think it's a top. I think it genuinely is like a massive, not gamble, but like it could be any one of the other 7 players because, as I said, like European football, there's a lot of new managers, there's a lot of money being thrown around and new players as well. I think it's a transition season for a lot of teams, and for me, after those 3, I think any of those 7 could quite easily go in, just have a bad run of form, and then that's it. They're falling into that 8 to 10 category.
So in that case, do you want to fill out the top few spots, and then we can make it easy? So we're going definitely City as champions, and Arsenal is definitely a second place.
Yeah, and then for me, I put Liverpool 3rd. I'm gonna say, this is tough, but I'm gonna say Man United probably 4th. Then I think Newcastle. I think Villa will be 5th because I think their team is very good and they haven't got European football this year. So no, are they in the Conference League?
No,
they're not. So
actually,
yeah,
no. Are they? I'm not sure. I think they are actually.
I'll have a look.
All right. In that case,
Chelsea in Europa or Newcastle.
I'm gonna put Chelsea there because they don't have European football this season. I'm gonna put Newcastle in 7th, and I think those are so hard to predict. That 4th to 10th place is incredibly hard to predict.
Villa do have Europa Conference League.
Okay, well, in that case, I'm going to leave it like that for now. But like I said, my caveat is anywhere between United to Villa. I think it could literally be any order. I think it could be any order. But anyways, I'm going to go to work. So enjoy.
Peace out, Dan. Have a good day, mate.
Dan.
See you later. Take care.
See ya. I also believe that I think Dan's posted his thread on Lewis Hall. So if you guys haven't had a look at that, I highly suggest you do because the last one on Franca was incredible.
Definitely.
But let's run through this. So I think we can all agree, everyone in this stream and in the world will probably agree Man City is going to win and Arsenal will most likely be second. I'm not fully convinced with Liverpool.
No, neither am I.
Personally, I would probably be more happy putting Man United at 3rd
Yeah. I have Man United third. The also the interesting thing is that we need another team in the Champions League. There are 5 teams going Champions League football this season. So someone gets moved up. Because I think the only route through into the Conference League for English teams now is the League Cup, and then that is it. They've changed the rules on it. I need to look into the rules again, and I'll have a look again. But
we're going off no like if it was all brand new, so there's no like revolving Champions League, for example.
City are champions. Arsenal definitely second. I think this is going to be a close title run.
You know what? It's third. It's what is it? It's third to 10th, and you're thinking, I don't know. I think definitely. I don't know. The thing is, is if you're looking players-wise, Villa are not a 10th place team, are they?
No, I'm not gonna lie. I'm putting them above Spurs and Brighton.
Because Kane's gone, they're definitely the lowest in terms of quality in the team.
Yeah,
because I know that Son's productivity will slash in half straight away because there is no Harry Kane.
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie. Villa have absolutely cooked all window. I'm putting them 8th because Brighton, remember, have lost Robert Sanchez,
and they're gonna lose Caicedo as well.
And they're about to lose Caicedo. Funny enough, to the exact same team again, to Chelsea.
If they get that 100 million, they've made 200 million off Chelsea alone in 2 years.
I know, it's crazy. It's ridiculous.
The only thing is I don't know who else to put instead of Liverpool.
I reckon it's staying like that because obviously Liverpool have quietly just done some business. Obviously they've got McAllister and they've got
they tried to snatch Caicedo, but he didn't want to go all the way up north, did he?
And they've got Szoboszlai. I've butchered that name, I know.
Szoboszlai.
Thank you. They've got him from Leipzig.
Great player.
Yeah, and they've I don't know. I mean, I think we could make an argument. Chelsea finish 4th. They haven't got European football. That is a huge boost for any team.
Yeah,
because you've not got that added. What?
Obviously, you can't look at pre-season too well, but
no, and
they balled out in pre-season
for the business that they've done.
And I'm very impressed with Nicholas Jackson. I thought that he was just going to be, just a placeholder for them to build someone else, but he looks to be the real deal.
And obviously, Nkunku's out for a majority, at least, of this half of the season. But no, I'm going to say Chelsea 4th.
Liverpool 5th.
Liverpool 5th. Sorry, Liverpool.
No European football is going to be a huge help. It's going to be jet lag, extra games.
Because I think when Chelsea finished, when they had that horrific season, I think this was coming off of their title win, and they just finished mid-table, they were shocking bad.
Also, the Pochettino factor is huge. It's not Potter anymore, is it?
No, it's Poch now. So I reckon Chelsea are going to be up there. They won't. I don't think they'll be in and around the title race, but this is a 3-legged race for City, United, and Arsenal. I'm happy with that.
Would you? Okay, I'm just being devil's advocate here.
Go on.
Would you say that Liverpool and Newcastle also have the squads to go through European football as well as Villa and Brighton? Because I think Liverpool's squad is very thin, and potentially if Van Dijk gets another injury, they could be in real trouble. I feel like if they get 1 or 2 injuries here and there, that could be them done.
yeah, their squad depth isn't the greatest, whereas Newcastle's, on the other hand,
It's very good.
is very, very good. But I think Klopp has sort of accepted in the past seasons, like, okay, this isn't the season yet. This isn't like, let them cook. Like, they've been in that let them cook stage. I think now they're out the oven. This is it. Serve them up. So I'm gonna keep it the same, but I know for a fact Newcastle and Villa are going to be troubling Liverpool.
The only reason why I say that is because Liverpool have been in Europe for so long that potentially Europe wouldn't. Like I'd say that Europe to them in the early rounds will probably feel like a bit of a chore. However, to Villa, it's going to be a huge experience. I feel like that's going to boost them through the season.
Well, look at what it did for West Ham season.
Because I'm finding it extremely hard to leave Villa down there, personally.
Fair enough. I'm only saying Villa 8 is because I think Emery will have too much to focus on. He'll need to prioritize one thing over the other, that being either the Conference League or league position. So I think higher mid-table for them is acceptable with a decent run in the Conference League, because I think Villa certainly will have the talent to win the whole thing. And Emery knows how to win a European trophy.
But it's a lot of games.
It's a lot of games, especially if they finish second in their group, respectively.
Yeah. Well, in that case, I'm very happy to leave it here. Exactly like this.
There we go.
So, running from top to bottom this time. So, as the Premier League champions, once again, we've got Man City, with second place being Arsenal, Man United and Chelsea, followed up at fifth with Liverpool, Newcastle, Villa, Brighton, Spurs, Brentford, Bournemouth, Palace, Forest, Burnley, West Ham, with Luton barely surviving, and Everton, Wolves, and Sheffield United going down into the Championship.
There we go. Lovely.
That's Eagle-Eyed Football's Premier League table predictions. If you guys want, please put your predictions in the comments down below. We'll be checking the comments pretty often. 5 minutes until kickoff. So, guys, get onto Sky Sports main event or whatever other means you're going to watch the game on, let's say. And other than that, Nicky, is there anything else you want to end on?
Don't forget to watch the Premier League review show. It's back for a brand new season on Tuesday at 5 o'clock. Can't wait to see you there. We'll be going over all the favourites, all the games, Brick of the Week, Baller of the Week, and our new feature, which is the Eagle-Eyed Football Team of the Week as well. So see you there.
Cool. And the vlog potentially may be out the same day tomorrow because me and Rich are making the journey up to Sheffield. So the vlog potentially might be out the same day, but if it comes out the next day, don't be surprised because it's a bit of a drive and the train.
Don't get that restricted view that you had the last time. I saw that picture.
This one. The guy in the background looks so pleased with himself as well. Look at him.
He's happy to be there, mate. He's happy to get friendly football.
And finally, guys, please remember to check out Dan's thread. I've just seen it now, and it's really good. I'm going to go and read it while the game's on. And join our fantasy league. Nicky's running it. He loves it, and he will keep us updated, probably on the Premier League review show as well.
Yes, I will be doing that as well.
Guys, thank you very much.
As well.
Yeah. Mate, there's so much stuff to plug. But, guys, thank you very much for watching. This is Eagle-Eyed Football's Premier League table prediction. It was Rich's idea and he didn't turn up, so that's one, mate.
Sacked. Yellow card.
In the morning. Yeah. He's got to pay me. He's got to buy me McDonald's tomorrow. That's that. He's gonna have to do the food review. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'm JC. That is Nicky. Up the Palace.
Up the Palace.
Eagles.